I just lost my job today.
I just got laid off.
I lost my job because my friend decided to do some fraudulent stuff and put my name in it.
I've been laid off. I don't have a fucking job. I'm unemployed. I have no income.
I got fired from my job yesterday.
Y'all, my corporate job just fired me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to real stories about why people got fired or lost their jobs. Now, sometimes it's obvious, but other times the reasons can be surprising, unexpected, or even completely avoidable. From workplace mistakes to misunderstandings and poor decisions, these stories show how quickly things can change. This isn't about judging, it's about learning from real experiences and seeing what actually happens behind the scenes. Let's get into the video.
I just lost my job today. No warning, no nothing. They wouldn't even tell me why. I don't know. I didn't do anything wrong. I have no savings. I have nothing. I just don't. I got in the exit interview and they said, today's gonna be your last day. My manager, my director was on the call. And then they were like, the decision has already been made, so we really don't have anything to hear from you. You're gonna get paid for the one day you worked in August, and we'll give you your commission check, and that's the last of it. And end the call on you. I'm low. I'm low.
I just got laid off. I thought 2026 was gonna be my year. Now I'm unemployed. Oh my god. Like, is this a prank? Am I missing something? Like, what? I don't even know how I feel. Anger, I'm sad, I'm scared. This job, it fell into my lap when I was desperate, when I really needed it. So I gave it my all, gave it all my energy. I spent so much time learning and perfecting the craft so that I could be good at what I do. But while giving it everything, I lost myself. It's like I became a robot. Like, I would just show up. I would dread every single day. Mondays were my worst enemy. I fucking dreaded that day. Pretending I was okay, but I would really just go on break quickly and go cry in the bathroom. And yes, I told my managers, they were very aware of how I was feeling. They saw my downfall compared to when I first started to now. Like, I was miserable at that job. But at the end of the day, the bills still gotta get paid. Life goes on. I don't know if it's like a trauma bond or something, but it's scary. Like, what the fuck is happening right now? I'm like speechless. Like, I can't even believe that this is happening right now. I have no job. I have no source of income. I'm fucked. My God. What is actually happening? I know that everything happens for a reason. Trying to stay positive here. You're telling me this is what was meant to happen. This is what was meant to happen. 2026, the year that Aaliyah is ready to go all in, no excuses, no fuckery, and I lose my job. It's like a weird roller coaster of emotions because I hated that routine that I was just stuck in where I did nothing but live for that job. I woke up last minute, did nothing with my mornings 80% of the time, would skip breakfast because of how late I woke up, would show up at the office and be miserable from 9 to 5, and then come home, eat supper, shower, sleep, repeat. Like, I have no life. All of 2025, I've spent it isolating myself. I haven't been spending time with my friends. I haven't been seeing family. I haven't been doing anything for myself. I don't have any hobbies. Other than creating content, what have I been doing? Nothing. I've been living for this job that doesn't give a fuck about me. And they just dump me like that. Just like that. Cheers to being unemployed. Damn.
I lost my job because my friend decided to do some fraudulent stuff and put my name in it. So back in 2018, I started working at this chiropractic assistant. I randomly found a job and they hired me on the spot. My friend who was a server, she lost her job and she needed another job. So I was like, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do because we're hiring too. So I tell her what to do. I tell her what to put on her resume. I tell her everything to do to make sure she gets in and she gets the job. So when she starts working, we don't tell the people that we know each other or anything like that. They just assume like that we bonded quick. But she instantly, so this was a job, like usually at jobs, I get along with everybody. Usually no drama. But when she came in, her and the receptionist didn't get along. The manager and the receptionist was talking about her. Like there was instant drama. And I'm just like, this is weird because like they were cool with me. And again, because they didn't know that me and her were friends, they would like pull me to the side and like ask about her, talk about her, try to talk with me about her. And I'm just like, oh, I don't really know her like that. She seems okay. But like, yeah, they didn't like her. Ultimately though, my friend ended up moving. She was trying to get into a house or whatever, and she needed employment verification. But the job we had, we was only making like 16, 17 an hour, and it wasn't enough. Like we weren't working enough hours to where she could get approved. So she decides, again, at that moment, I didn't know she was moving. I didn't know what was going on. She just decided to do stuff up on herself. Like at the spot we was working at, we had a computer and the manager's office had a printer. So she decided to create a whole form that basically said, it was like an employment verification form, and it said that I was the manager. And she was like, yeah, and she like, I mean, it was a company computer, so obviously it had like documents that had like letterheads and stuff like that for the company. So the form that she made, it looked legitimate. It said I was the manager. It just looked real, but it wasn't. It was a whole fake document saying she made like 80,000 per year and whatever the case was. So she types that form up, prints it out, and again, the printer is in the manager's office. So when she prints it, she decides to make a copy of it. And you know, it's one of those printers where you have to lift up the thing and put the piece of paper in and pull it down, and it'll make a copy of it. So she makes the copy, but she forgets to take the piece of paper that's in the copier out. So the manager comes in and she's just cleaning up her office. She lifts up the copier and she sees this fraudulent piece of paper. So she instantly brings me into the office. She's like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. Like, obviously it's not for me, because in the documentation it said like, this is for Sally Mae, and Sally Mae makes da 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 da. But it said that I made it. It said that I was the manager. In my mind at this time, like, I'm like, okay, I'm not about to get fired. They're probably just at most gonna ask me mad questions, like, because obviously this isn't for me. I didn't make this. Like, you could just run the cameras back. But me being who I am and how I am, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna snitch on her. Ultimately, they bring us both into the office. So when they bring us both into the office, they're just asking mad questions. And honestly, I'm just sitting there because I really truly didn't even have the answers. And she was literally coming up with so many excuses, because it's not like it was my fault. It's not like she wanted to tell on me or anything like that. But at some point at the end of the meeting, I just look at her and I'm literally just staring at her like, bitch, what the fuck do you got us in? Like, woo, like, why would you do that? And I'm just looking at her like. And when we walk out of the office, she's just apologizing to me. She's like, I'm so sorry, girl. Like, I didn't mean for this to happen. I'm just like, you know what? It's cool. It's whatevers. I don't know why, but I guess since I was the longer working employee, they fired me and they let her keep the job, even though I didn't make this. And I didn't, like, bruh, this had nothing to do with me. She just wrote my name in it. Like, what the hell? But I wasn't even mad. I did send, like, initially me and her was cool, like, probably for like 2 days after that. But then when I really sat and thought about it, I was like, bro, I got her this job. Like, regardless, if I know I was on the BS, I would have done everything I could to make sure they knew she had nothing to do with it, especially because she didn't. But everybody's not like me, and instead I just cut her off. I sent her a long ass paragraph. I did one of those. I did send a long paragraph, and I was like, yeah, like, this ain't sitting right with me. And before I want to wanted to fight her, snap on her or anything. I was like, I'm gonna just cut her off and never speak to her again. And that's what happened. To this day, like, we're not friends. Would you have let your friend take the fall for you?
All right, in this next clip, this girl shares how she unexpectedly got fired from her bartending job, and honestly, the reason might surprise you. She talks about miscommunication, work expectations, and how quickly things can change even when everything seems fine. This one shows how sometimes it's not even about performance, but timing and decisions behind the scenes. Let's watch her story.
I got fired from my bartending job like 2 weeks ago, and you guys have absolutely been on me about posting about it, so here it is. I'm sick, so don't mind my voice. So I've been at this job since, I want to say, like in late November, early December, so I'd only been there for like 4 months at this point, so it was like early March when I got the message, and I was literally sitting on the toilet, and I had a shift scheduled for the next day, and my shifts weekly were usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I never usually worked weekends. But during my interview with my manager, my boss, he said that it's fine that I'm not going to work weekends, because he was my family friend, so it was kind of like an exemption sort of thing. He was like, that's fine, you can't work weekends. I couldn't work weekends, mind you, because my boyfriend and I are like an hour and a half away from each other, so I usually only see him on weekends. Like, that's the only time I really have for him. And so it's not like an unusual thing that I wasn't working this upcoming weekend of my shift. You know what I mean? Like, from my Monday, Wednesday, Friday shifts. Like, that's what I worked every week. And it wasn't an unusual thing that I wasn't available for this upcoming weekend. I was told prior to being fired that all the girls needed to start working weekends more because we were better to look at for the customers. This was my first my first instance of looking at the work and being like, this is kind of weird. But I was like, whatever. Because to be fair, like, me and the other girls at the place didn't really work weekends very often. So, like, anyways. So I was sitting on the toilet, literally just, like, scrolling through Reels, when I get a message from my manager, sort of. Like, he did all the scheduling and stuff, but he was also my friend. And he sent me a message, and I just thought it was about, like, my upcoming shift. And he said to me, hey, like, I've just gotten told by our bigger manager that I have to take you off the roster because of your availabilities. Like, I'm sorry. I sat there in shock. And I messaged him back and I was like, what do you mean my availabilities? I'm available Monday to Friday every single week. And he messages and he's like, yeah, but it's because of, like, you can't work weekends. Now, apparently the reason for this was because there was a really big function that weekend, and the big, like, boss, the owner, he wanted every single worker to be coming to this event. And because I couldn't, he was just like, fire her. Now, I wasn't even asked to come on to this Saturday. If they had messaged me and been like, can you please work this Saturday? Like, we kind of need all the workers. I would have been like, yeah, I guess. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to, but I probably would have. Or if they'd messaged me in advance and been like, hey, like, we need you to start working more weekends, maybe every third weekend, I would have been like, yeah, all right. But I kind of didn't get these sort of warnings. And then the guy I was speaking to is like, how about we just give it 2 weeks and just, like, see how everything plays out. And now it's been over 2 weeks, so I'm, like, officially not going back there, which is really sad because I actually quite enjoyed the work and I was friends with everyone there. Like, I'd made some really solid friends. But, you know, what can you do? I don't know. And I really liked bartending. And if you're over 18 and you want to get into a job, I could not highly recommend bartending enough. Like, it's really good money. But yeah, guys, it's not that much of an interesting story. It was kind of just, like, miscommunication and stuff. But yeah, that's the reason I was fired.
Guys, I got fired yesterday. So I wasn't actually going to talk about this, but I really just, like, don't care anymore. I'm just gonna give you a quick little story time on what the fuck happened. Basically, if you don't know, I was a server at Olive Garden. I worked there for like 9 months. I absolutely loved my job. I said it on here all the time that I loved working there. I looked forward to going into work. Everybody knows that I loved my job and it was, like, genuinely the best job that I've had. Basically, I walk into work yesterday and I'm thinking it's gonna be a normal day. I was scheduled to close that day, so I was gonna be there for like 5 hours. I get talked to by the manager and then she goes, oh, like, can you, like, come talk to me, like, over here? And I was like, Sure. Mind you, this is my first day back since spring break, so I haven't worked in over a week, so I thought she was just gonna give me like a little bit of a rundown. Basically, she sits me down and she goes, do you post on social media? And I was like, yeah, I do. And she's like, do you post about Olive Garden ever? And I was like, I mean, I have. Like, I do server vlogs sometimes. Literally thinking nothing of it. And then she asks me if I've ever recorded inside the restaurant. And I was just like, yeah. Like, it's a public space. Like, yeah, I have. She's sitting there telling me that she's seen my server rants and me talking about the customers and the fact that I make no money and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, okay, like, fuck that gotta do with me. I don't really understand. She's just sitting there telling me that it's super against policy to talk about the customers and record inside the restaurant. And I totally get that. I was being super professional about it. I was just like, yeah, I understand like why I'm in the wrong. I just didn't think too much of it because I see server rants all the time. Like thousands and thousands of people post server rants all the time. Like didn't think I would get fucking fired for it. She hands me this piece of paper and it was a bunch of questions and I have to answer them and then hand it to corporate and then see if corporate will like take me back as a server. As I'm like filling these questions out, she was like, it's honestly not looking good though because like I did do like all the wrong things. Meanwhile, my wrong things were recording inside the restaurant, talking about the customers and like posting about it and yeah, I guess, I don't know. But basically she said it wasn't looking good, so she hands me this resign form to say like that I can resign from it so it doesn't say like I got fired, you know? So I was like, yeah, I'll just resign. Like it's a teenage job, it's really not that deep. I did indeed cry when I was signing it because I love my job and like obviously didn't want to leave. Now it's the fact that I am actually unemployed. That's a very scary thought because I have not been unemployed since I was like 15 years old. But it's also the fact that it just caught me so off guard. Like I literally walked in with my apron on ready to work and then I walked out 30 minutes later bawling. I'm just trying to think of it as like a blessing in disguise. Maybe I'll make more money at my other job. Maybe I'll like meet my new friends. If you are a server, this is your sign to not post server rants or you talking badly about any customers or like don't post anything about your job because this is where it got me. If you guys just want to like follow me, comment down below, share my post so then I don't have to work again, that would be amazing. But meanwhile, I need to clock the fuck in and start making bank.
So in this next clip, this woman shares how she got fired from her job, and all she did was ask a simple question. She breaks down how the situation unfolded, how things escalated quickly, and how confusing workplace dynamics can sometimes be. This one is honestly shocking and might make you question how some workplaces operate. Let's watch her story.
So I got fired from my job just for asking a question. So I show up to work, 6:30 in the morning, bright and early, cup of coffee in my hand, and I decide on my 15-minute break I'm going to go down to the courthouse because I had some papers that I needed to file. Courthouse is only about 5 minutes from my job, so it was really no problem to get that done in 15 minutes. 8-ish rolls around, I go on my 15-minute break, come back, no one says anything. A little while later, the team lead comes back to where we're all working and he pulls all the office assistants and he's like, we need to have a mandatory meeting. So we all pile in. From HR comes into the meeting room as well. And then they call the director on the phone because she's at conferences. Right out the gate, she's like going off. She's like upset. She's saying that we have, standards that we're supposed to be following and no one's following them. And she kept mentioning like taking extra breaks and no one should be taking any extra breaks. If you run to the coffee shop, then that counts as your 15-minute break. Like you shouldn't be running to get coffee and then coming back and then thinking you still are going to get a break. And she also was like really upset that people were like asking other people in the office if they wanted coffee. She's like, you guys all have access to DoorDash. If you want something and you can't go get it, just pay the fee like everyone else. She gives her a little spiel and at the end she opens the floor for questions. She's like, if you have anything personal that you need to discuss, of course pull me to the side after, but if you have any general questions, now's the time to ask them. So I speak up and I'm like, hey, I was never aware of any like specific schedule we're supposed to be following for our meal times. I only knew that our lunch had to be taken at our 5th hour. I didn't know that there was like anything specific about our 15-minute breaks. So what's the schedule that we're supposed to be following so I know for future? And also keep in mind, all the time that I've been working there, no one has ever like pulled me to the side or said anything about like, hey, why'd you take your break at this time? No one said anything. So I never knew that anything was being done wrong. So I asked my question and she immediately snaps and she's like, who am I speaking to? And I told her my name and she's like, well, how long have you worked here? And I tell her that. And she's like, okay, so when have you been taking your breaks? And I tell her. And she's like, okay, so what time did you go today? And I'm like, well, I went right at 8 today. And she's like, well, what changed today? Why did you go early today? And I tell her, I had something personal that I needed to take care of. And then she snaps again and she's like, didn't I say if you have something personal you want to talk about, you need to pull me to the side? We shouldn't be talking about anything personal in front of everyone. So now I'm confused and I'm like speechless because you asked me what I was doing on my break. I asked you a simple question of when I should be taking my break. That should have just been like a simple, take it at this time and that's it. But she never really answers my question. She just moves on. She starts talking to other people in the meeting. So someone else speaks up and they ask, what's the schedule around breaks? Because no one knew that there was a set schedule. So she answers them just fine. And then eventually the meeting's over, everyone leaves, and she keeps saying, don't have a meeting about this meeting afterwards. No one needs to be discussing what we talked about. After the meeting, everyone's like asking me if I'm okay because the whole situation was just weird and awkward as hell. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. But we all just go about our day as usual. Like everyone goes back to work. Eventually, at the end of the day, I'm on my way home. I'm like just about home at this point. And I get a phone call and they basically say, thanks for your work, but don't come back tomorrow. And they're like, you're not allowed, I'm basically not allowed back on the premises. I can't go and pick up my belongings from my desk or anything. You know, I have to have it mailed to me or something, but bye. So now I am just so confused. And I asked, like, did the director say anything or, you know, give a reason about why I was being fired? Or, you know, is there anything you can tell me, basically? And she's like, no, the director didn't really give a reason. She just said, you know, don't come back. Then apparently the next morning when everyone was at work, someone like asked permission to go to the bathroom. And the team lead was like, great, I'm glad you learned your lesson after what happened yesterday. Like, alluded to the fact that they used me as an example, like, of letting me go. And the whole thing was just weird as fuck. So now I am officially a jobless single mother. But it's fine. I'm taking it as a sign that God has something better planned for me that is going to happen for me soon. But yeah, that was my little story time.
In this next clip, this woman shares how losing her job turned into one of the hardest moments of her life. She talks about the uncertainty, the struggle that followed, and how everything seemed to fall apart all at once. But it's also a story about resilience and pushing through when things get really tough. Let's watch her story.
Story time of how I lost my job and went completely bankrupt. I got hired at this company in Memphis, Tennessee, right out of college. So I moved out there right after college. I graduated in May, and I believe I was out in Memphis like June, like the first week of June. And I was just moved out there. I'm getting accumulated with my team and everything like that. And I remember the beginning of 2025, we actually got a new CEO, right? So my new CEO that we got at our company, it was cool. He was introducing himself, blah, blah, blah. And then it was a few months in, we started hearing the word a reorg. And if you don't work in corporate America, or you might be curious, a reorg is not good. So a lot of people may hear that and be like, oh, you're just moving things around. It's like, yeah, or you might get let go, right? So we're going through it. Our company hasn't made profit in years. So this new CEO is doing his thing, right? I remember a few months in, we started hearing the word reorg. But our team, we made a lot of money. We did a lot for the company. The people around us and the people over us were telling me, like, we have nothing to worry about. So now it's about Q2 of 2025. And, you know, word is getting pretty heavy around the office, right? And I remember one meeting, after the billion meetings that we've had, we hear we need to update our resume. But the team members on my team were just reassuring me, like, Jenna, you're young, you're new here, like, you have nothing to worry about, like, it's fine, don't be scared. Because mind you, I'm across the nation, like, I have no family out there, no friends, like, I'm over here sad in Memphis away from my family and friends. I don't really know what to do. I don't really know how to grasp onto things. People are really just trying to reassure me and hold on to me, right? So another month after that, we have a meeting, and my manager was like, I'm scared. Like, I might get moved around. I might get let go. Like, no one is safe. I started hearing a lot around the office, people crying, people saying how they're going to move back to their brothers and sisters' house and their mothers. Like, these are 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds saying that they're about to move back home with their parents because they don't have anywhere else to go. We're about to lose our jobs. So at this point, I'm worried because no matter what my team is telling me, I'm not really feeling the, okay, Jenna, you're good. I'm feeling the opposite. So I remembered I visited home in Houston and I was with someone and I was staying at their house for a little minute. And I remembered I was downstairs and I was on the phone with my coworker. We're talking, we're praying, like we're really, really scared. And I remembered that this was on this phone, but I had two phones. I heard a ding on my other phone. And I hang up the phone, take a few deep breaths, make me a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel. And I go to my phone. I had an Outlook notification, meeting with HR, 9 a.m. next Monday. Okay. So I left my friend's house. I went to my mom's job. I held her hand. I was like, Mom, they just let me go. Like, I figured, like, this is it. So we start crying together. You know, the anticipation, the anxiety that I feel at this moment is crazy. Lord knows I just understood how to pay a bill. Lord knows I did not understand what it meant to be let go. Like the feeling like of who, what, when, where, why, how I'm going to move out my apartment. Everything was just coming into play. It was honestly very sickening. I cannot explain to you guys the feelings that I felt during this time period, especially getting on my flight back home to Memphis and having to prepare myself to go into the office the next day. And this is all I recorded everything. I recorded every single thing from October till now, present day. And I'm gonna edit it and show you guys that testimony, but this wasn't even the worst part. So I go home, I'm breathing in and out. I'm just praying, thank you, God. Thank you, Lord, for everything. Lord, I thank you that I even had a job to be let go from. Lord, I thank you that I have a little bit of money to get me a flight home. Lord, I was just thanking him because I wasn't thanking him because of where I was at. I was thanking him because I knew where I was going to be. I just couldn't see it yet. So 9 a.m. the next day, I wake up at like 7, 8 o'clock. I'm praying, listening to Natasha Bedingfield. I gotta fucking trying to be laugh or whatever. I pull up to the office. I go up the stairs, but I go through the back because I didn't want anyone looking at me. Mind you, my whole team is in the office, but I'm the only one who got the notification. And I didn't want to pass my teammates' desk. I didn't want anyone looking at me. Like, I didn't want anyone, like, comforting me because I knew I was going to break down. Go into the office. It was literally my CIO and my HR rep, 2 tables, 1 big packet. I mean, 1 table, 3 chairs. They're sitting in 2, 1 big packet. It was a white packet. And they had that face like, it was horrible. Like, they said, unfortunately, you know, we're going through a reorg, and unfortunately your position has been impacted. They walked me through what I was getting, like the money that I was getting, which wasn't a lot. If you know anything about corporate America, how our what is it called, the money that we get when we're let go, it's a certain percentage, and it's a certain equation that they use, our calculation or whatever they came up with. I only got 1 year. I got 1 month of pay per year that I worked. And like I said, I just moved there from LSU. That was my very first job. I got, I think, $2,700 to move back home. And mind you, I didn't get that money right then and there. So we had that meeting, get home. I'm thinking about how the fart knuckles am I gonna move out of my apartment. I go to my team, they hug me, because at that point they already knew and I was already walking back. We had a meeting the next day. They're saying, Jenna, you're handling this so well. I remember just breaking down, crying, just in tears. Like, I couldn't even talk and then all my team members turned off their camera and started crying too, because at this point I was just handling it well. Like, there was nothing I could do. But I knew when I fell back, God would catch me. So I just had to move with everything with grace. And when you're going through something like this, I realized I had to be out of my apartment in 3 days. I had to pack my entire apartment. I had no family, no friends. I was asking people from my gym, Crunch Fitness on White Station, can you please help me move out of my apartment? I had to sell all of my furniture that I worked so hard for. All of my flat screens, I had a king size bed, the mattress, the bed frame, my dressers, my silverware, my couches, my everything. I couldn't even sell it because I knew no one. I had to give it to the Salvation Army. Thousands of dollars that I worked for, thousands of dollars that I saved up money for, gone. But I can't even look at it like that. It helped somebody else, but I gave everything away. When I was on this meeting, I remember one of my team members, she was like, Jenna, I'm coming to get you. Jenna, I'm coming to get you. She was at my house in 7 minutes. We ran around. I gave her half of my furniture as well, her and her daughters. Her name is Sarah. I absolutely love her to death. And that was basically it. Like, mind you, I was broke. I had no money. My parents could not help me at the time. And I really had to figure that out. So I was out of my apartments in 3 days. I remember I got a brand deal for like $100 to go to Ole Miss to film content. That same night, I went to LSU, drove from Ole Miss to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a 4-hour drive, filmed content at LSU, slept on my friend's couch that day, went from LSU back to Memphis, Tennessee, 5 hours to host my Girl Sip and Talk. And then right after that, I packed up my day. I didn't sleep for that 24 hours. And I'm just saying this, like, this is a testimony. This was a horrible experience, but so amazing because you never know what the Lord has in store for you. I did all that for $100 because, baby, I needed that $100. And you just never know. While y'all were saying, oh, I love your life, y'all had no idea what I was going through. And I honestly stopped going through stuff March 8th, and I can't wait to, like, share that part of my life with you guys, share that area of vulnerability with you guys. But if you're going through something similar like this, save your money and it's going to be okay. I will pray over you myself. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. Thank you for sharing this story time with me, being here for this long, and I'm very appreciative and can't wait to see what the Lord has in store for me. Oh, I got a new job, by the way, earlier this year, so it's all good. Amen.
I just got let go from my job as part of organizational shifts and return to office. As you guys know, I have been a remote employee for the past 5 years, really since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm crying not because I'm sad that I got let go. Obviously, the instability of losing an income always sucks. What sucks most about being let go is somebody taking control out of your hands. I always preach internally and here at home that we have got to be the people in the driving seat of our futures, of our careers. And when a company takes that control out of your hands, it sucks because all of a sudden the plan that you had, the roadmap that you were on board for is gone. Now you've got to start over. And this is why you've always got to have a plan B, a plan C, and most importantly, an emergency fund. I am incredibly upset and frustrated. There have been several shifts in the company in this last couple of months that I just knew the writing was on the wall and I knew my time was coming. But the fact that we have an emergency fund, because ultimately that is what matters at the end of the day, is that we have money to pay our mortgage, to pay for our daycare. We have that as a fallback, and I can take time, maybe a week, to just collect my thoughts and put together a strategy for job hunting. Always be prepared for the unexpected, because ultimately companies will always put themselves first. And as much as you want to believe that you're part of the family, you like the people you work with, it's a business transaction. It's a business contract, and you've got to handle it as such. But please know that you are more than your job. You are more than what you do. Have a plan, have an emergency fund. Do not spend more than you need to. Live below your means. We are in strange times. That isn't beside me losing the job, just general messaging. Protect yourselves, treat yourself as a business, and always be looking for better opportunities, because companies would do the same, and they are.
I got fired from my job yesterday. This is day 2, and yesterday I pretty much just stayed inside and I cried and I was just in shock. Today I'm doing a lot better, and I applied for a few graphic design jobs, and I've just been applying a little bit, and I thought maybe if I kind of documented this process on TikTok that it would make me feel better and I could look back on it. But yeah, I moved to Tampa, Florida about 2-ish months ago. Started working as a social media manager for a startup company. And for a lot of different reasons, including the Hurricane Milton, I lost my job yesterday. I took like a huge leap, and I used to live in Chicago. I quit my job that I really liked because I really wanted to move to Tampa. And it's just been a really long and hard process because I like really took a risk and moved out here and finally got a job and was feeling like comfortable, and now I'm kind of back at square one. So that's really upsetting and hard, but I have hope that a better opportunity and a better job is gonna come my way, and that this job just like wasn't for me, and like there's something better coming. I know that TikTok has powerful ways of making opportunities work, so if anybody on TikTok knows about any like graphic design jobs or social media manager jobs, let me know because I need it.
All right, guys, in this next clip, this woman opens up about one of the most difficult experiences of her life, losing her job and surrendering her nursing license. She shares what happened, how it affected her, and why she's finally speaking out after keeping it to herself for so long. This one is really emotional and gives a deeper look into the pressures behind the scenes.
So I've been keeping a secret for almost 2 years, and I think for my own mental health's sake and just getting it off my chest, that maybe I won't have nightmares about it anymore, because I feel like I've accepted it and I've let it go, but obviously I haven't, because it keeps replaying in my mind over and over again. And my therapist says I should just probably listen to my nightmares and tell people the truth about what happened on the night that I lost my job and subsequently my nursing license. I didn't lose my nursing license, I surrendered it. And the reason I surrendered it is because I felt like if I accepted the Board of Nursing's punishment, that was also me agreeing, taking 100% of the blame for what happened that night. And I'm not saying that I didn't do anything wrong, but to this day I still feel and believe that I wouldn't go back and change anything, and that I did my best. I think part of what's kept me from being open about it, because I'm very much an overshare type person. I tell people, like, I have no secrets, I have no privacy. I've been that way forever. But this is the one thing in my life that I have not told anybody about, or very few people about, because I feel like nobody wants to hear from nurses that aren't ones that are saying, yes, I'm 100% guilty, I take full accountability, I don't want to come off like I'm a victim, like I didn't do anything wrong. But I am still bitter about it, and I think a lot of it was fucked up. It's also very shameful to be one of the nurses to lose your license, because that's what they're going to say. Oh, she lost her license. And I associated a lot of my identity and my self-worth with being a nurse. I was a labor and delivery nurse for 7 years. I used to work at a level 4 labor and delivery unit before I moved to a smaller rural hospital that was a level 2 labor and delivery center. So I guess we will start with that night. I was a night shift nurse. I came in for my shift a little bit early because we were doing a simulation with University Hospital, and I volunteered to be the primary nurse. And it was great. It was easy. When I was done with the simulation, both my bosses came up to me and said that University was so impressed with me as a nurse, and then my bosses were like, man, when shit hits the fan, we want you. Because I was really good at my job. I was really good at my job. So to have that said to you on the same night that is also your last night working as a nurse is very much whiplash. So I got report pretty late. Not late, probably like 7:30. So I didn't assume care of my patients at 6:45 or 18:45 like normal. And the day shift nurses were still taking care of my patient. My patient, and this is what I remember from 2 years ago. It was May 2024. So it's almost 2 years. I'm going off of my memory. I'm not reading a script. I'm not good at making videos or talking to a camera. I'm just gonna let it flow. Here we go. While I was doing the simulation, my patient was getting an epidural. Now, you need to know that she was a 6 o'clock a.m. induction, and that they broke her water at 8 a.m. when she was 1 centimeter. She was also GBS positive. Okay, she was getting antibiotics. That sucks. Like, you know, that's just not okay. But that's the culture, that's the hospital, that's what they do. And then, so now I'm dealing with it at the end of a very long day, very long labor. I want it to be known that after her epidural, she had 1 late deceleration. In the chart, no doctor was notified. That's important. Nobody notified the doctor that she had a late deceleration. It's been 30 minutes since I've received her. And our facility, our Pitocin guidelines were to go up 6 by 6. Up to 36 if necessary. So I don't even remember how dilated she was. I'll probably go back and look at my documents to see how dilated she was, but the thing is, she was now gonna be prolonged ruptured, GBS positive, just got an epidural, not making much progress. Things are fine. I'm going up on it 6 by 6 every 30 minutes. Now, she was really hard to trace. Like, her baby's heart rate was really hard to trace. And she did have some decelerations. The baby always recovered back into moderate variability, and that just means that at that moment in time, they are well oxygenated, not in trouble. Everything's fine, you may continue. And anytime she would have any type of early, late, variable deceleration, I would go in there, adjust her position, either give her an IV bolus, and she would be fine. The baby would recover. The doctor came in about between 9 and 10 at night, I want to say. Oh, she was 4 centimeters. I think. Yeah, she was 4 centimeters. He looked at her strip. He looked at her chart. He gave her a vaginal exam. Told me everything was good and to keep going. So I did. At about 1 o'clock, she was completely dilated. And when people go through transition in labor, it's very tumultuous for the baby. It is not an unexpected anomaly that the tracing is sometimes erratic. But like I said, the baby would recover back into moderate variability and we would continue. And I was always there at the bedside fixing her monitor so I could hear the heart rate. And other nurses will tell you that even if you can hear the heart rate, sometimes it won't register on the strip. I'm gonna have to make a part 2.
Y'all, my corporate job just fired me. I went in today all nicely dressed like I am, and they sat me down and told me they were letting me go. After 6 years at this company, I am no longer there. And you know what? I'm not even upset. Is that bad? Is that bad not to feel upset about the situation? Like, I've been getting questions from family and they're like, how do you feel? And my response to them has literally been, I feel free. The reason, before y'all even get, to thinking that it was because of something that I posted on here, it was not. It was because of budget cuts. And not only was I let go, but others were too. So yeah, that was still surprising to me. I mean, I immediately asked in my, I guess, exit, just want to make sure that this is not about performance. And they clarified, this is not about your performance. This is solely based on, us not getting the grants and these things that we thought we were getting, and us having to cut back. And so I had to write it all down as they were talking, because I had to make sure, like, what after 6 years? I know God has a plan for me. I've been blessed with almost 18,000 of you on this platform, and I am so thankful. I hope they never take this platform away, because I am so thankful for you all. And just know that it's about to come. Like, when y'all see me, just know. Just know. It's because, baby, that job let her go. I'm going to have more for y'all. I don't have much now. I'm still kind of in shock, but not upset. I feel like God puts you in certain positions in your life. He makes you do stuff that you wouldn't do. Like, I would have never put myself in this position to be even a little bit uncomfortable, but he did that for me. I just know there's something big coming. I know there's something big. So y'all gonna see a lot more of me. So get ready, and please share these videos with a friend. Please send the links to a friend. Tell them to come follow your girl, because we got so much coming. I'm gonna be sharing everything. I'm gonna be sharing corporate stuff. I'm gonna be sharing still show up for y'all as if nothing has changed. So don't get it twisted. We're still here, and we're about to grind this out.